am going to do a 3D bloom today, and I am using the Daisy mold from Molds and Shapes. I've had it a long time. I'll be using a little May Spring olive gold mica powder. More than likely be using both the alcohol inks from Octopus inks, which you also can get from Laura's Art Corner in the States. I'm going to be using emerald and lucky green, and then I'm going to use fuchsia and marigold. Now what I did was previously I kind of showed you how I did those discs with extra resin. So here's one, and I used my ruler and measured it. I put a little bit of resin on the bottom so that it'll stay. Now it's a matter of whether, you know, I've placed it in the center. Now it's a matter of whether my resin, you know, how it flows might construe not, I don't know. So we shall hope. So I am going to be using the Ultra Cast 2-to-1 ratio resin. I'll mix it up and be right back. Okay, so the first step, I've already mixed in my olive mica powder with my Ultra Cast. I'm going to slowly pour it at the edge of the mold and hopefully get an even stream. I don't want too much, and the reason I'm doing this is because I'm hoping to turn this into a bowl, and so I don't want to have to do a top coat or back coat, whichever way you say it. So I'm hoping this little mica powder here will give a little sort of you know, background of some sort. Not too much, just a subtle one. And I'm going to be doing the bloom, the petaling, like Zarin Art, and I will link her channel below as well. She really does a lot of pieces that are sort of different for petaling on 3D blooms, and it's so inspiring, and I hope she doesn't mind that I'm trying to do what she does. So just let me finish doing this edge. This is also sort of allowing my Ultra Cast to warm up a bit before I put my casting crab. So I think, let me just see if and I've learned that just because you mix a certain amount of resin doesn't mean you have to use it. So like I've learned, it's always better to have more than less, because then you're in trouble. So now I hope this isn't too sort of tall, but that's okay, because if I'm going to convert it into a bowl, it'll be on the other side. Okay, so let me just do that, and I will, what I need to make sure is that I have, when I pour my layer of clear resin, that I have enough for my piping. So I'm just going to let that settle for a second, to also let my resin heat up some more. And I've got to get my picture of how, I think I remember how she petaled it. So, okay. I'm going to take the temperature of my resin with my little laser thingamajig. Okay, so it seems like it's going to be okay. So here we go. So I'm going to pour it sort of on here, edge, and then I'll pour some in the center. And as I'm pouring, I'm watching to make sure I have enough resin for my white. So what I'm actually going to do now is put aside some of the white. And I think, just to be safe, because there's quite a bit of peddling that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to set aside about 30 grams of my clear, so that I should have enough with that. Let's see, 26, 27, 28, 30. So there's 31, 32. That's okay. So there's my clear resin that I'll put my casting craft on. So now, let's see how much more. And I think I should be able to fill up the rest of it. Okay, so there was still room for more, but that's all right. Because I do want to also make sure I have room for my white. So I'm going to pour this in here, the rest of it. And I'm going to look side views to see if I covered this. And I think I did. It's a little hard to tell, but I'll keep putting this over it. I'll let that spread, and what I'll do is scrape up as much of the rest of my resin into my cup for the white. So, so that I make sure I have absolutely enough for my white. And then I'll leave a little bit this in case I need to sort of still, while it thickens up, to put some more on top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to torch. And I'm looking, it still looks like it's covered, so that's a good sign. One day I will invest in a vacuum chamber so that I can really eliminate the amount of bubbles I get with my resin. I think the temperature in my home, the temperature that I'm in, just sort of see all those little bubbles there? Gosh darn it. And there's a little something here. So let me see if I can get rid of those. Try and make them float out. Okay, let's try the torching again of those. Not sure if that did it. I'm still checking the level. I'm going to put a little bit more on the top. This way I also don't waste my resin. So I mixed a total of 9 ounces of the Ultra Cost. So it's 6 ounces of A and 3 ounces of B. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to put in the emerald green. And I'm sort of going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty green. Hopefully it'll blend with that green. And I'm going to take the lucky green and put it in the center. May have, oops, that went out. Splattered over there, little turkey. Then I will sort of mix this around, and what I'm going to do is, with the silicone tool, sort of put points at the end here. If you've noticed, I've been doing quite a little bit of this little pointy stuff in my blooms, but this one I'm going to do it in this color. Okay, next color is the fuchsia. I'm going to put it far out, 1, because it's going to come in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let that settle for a second or 2. And I'm going to just sort of swirl the fuchsia. Then the last color is the marigold. Handy dandy that this mold has those scallops where I want to put the yellow. Trying to think if I should put it in the middle. I don't think I will, because I'm going to actually swirl it in with the pink. So those are my alcohol inks put in. Let that settle a little bit. So now I'm going to do the same thing I did on the pink. And then I am actually going to swirl them all together. Okay, so now I'm going to just kind of mix them all in. This is kind of fun. Then I'm going to also mix the green in out now to the pink. Pretty design. And then I'm just gonna, you know, maybe take the greens out a bit. Just a little bit more. So that looks pretty nice. Oh, I'm dying to torch, but no, you cannot. Okay, in here I'm going to mix my casting craft, so feel free to fast forward as I mix it up. Now the colors, 1, 2, 3. The colors aren't very deep, so I might try a different resin ink next time, maybe. I'd love it to be a little bit darker. So I'm now mixing my casting craft. I'm going to mix it in really, really well, which also gives time for my alcohol inks to settle. Still mixing. I do hope I've mixed enough resin, so I'm going to pour it into my piping bag. I'm going to try and get every drop that I can from my white cup here. I like the consistency of my white. I think it feels a little warm, so that's good. Trying to get the white to go straight through to the center so that I don't waste any of it, or try not to waste any of it on the sides of the piping bag. Okay. Use the crunch sound. I think why these colors look light to me is because I've been doing the flowers by Resin Courses and the Duet, and those are really dark. Those colors are dark, so this is kind of different. Okay, here comes the piping. So I'm going to cut it's always a decision, you know, how much to cut off. Less is more because you can squeeze your piping bag. To make it thicker if you need to. All right, so here goes. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Oops. I'm going to do 2 like this. Then so this will be interesting on the next step of what I have to do or need to do. So then I'm going to go out, point, and in, out, point, and in, out, point, and in. And I need to say that to myself so I know what shape I'm doing it. So out, point, and in, out, point, and in. I'm kind of losing that shape. Out, point, and in. And then the same over here. Out, point, and in. Out, point, and in. Oh dear, lost that one. Out, point, and in. It's hard to do sort of upside down. And then another row or circle of dots. Okay. And then I am just going to do curlicues around. Then another layer, another row, I mean. That mica powder of the green that I put on the edge isn't really showing very much right now, so we shall see. I'm going to follow the shape of the petals here. Okay, I had more than enough resin in here, so that's cool. I still have so much left. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these in per the shape of this. And I might do one in the center. I want to make sure I don't touch those center ones. And I think I am going to put one go in the middle too, just to give them a little bit more character maybe. Now my only fear is that my lines look really thin, so okay. And let's see, these I'm just gonna wait, these are the ones I brought in, so I'm just gonna pull this out. These, no, that was in, or was it out? Oh, was it an innie or an outie? Put that out just to accentuate those. Okay, those are out. I think I'll just leave it at that and just see what happens. Hopefully the white will spread. I'm going to get my bigger torch. Yeah, I need to work on how much to cut off of my piping bag. Sometimes I do too much, sometimes I do too little. So we shall see. It looks like there's room for a top coat, but I'm not going to do so. Boy, I hope these spread. I'm thinking, I wonder if okay. You might be screaming at me, but maybe if I make them thicker. See if I can keep the shape of what I created in the first one, but just make the lines a little bit thicker. Okay. Oh, please, 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 please work. Okay, I might take my heat gun and sort of encourage it, coax it a little bit to spread a little bit more. And I will see you for the unmolding. Okay, I'm so thrilled. I thought I'd have to wait a longer time, but this ultracast kind of got cured somewhat. It's not fully cured, but I want it to be bendable. And this looks pretty. I did a black background for hopefully a really cool reveal. I've got my silver bowl ready to place my piece. So let us see how this 3D blooms turned out. See, it's really soft and malleable, so. Oh, wow. Very cool. Okay, I'm a little disappointed that this one didn't close. And the center is centered, I think. So I think I'm okay putting it down, but I think that turned out pretty. Very pretty petals. Look at that. They're kind of thicker and then it kind of flows over. Pretty. The only thing is, though, my green didn't turn out very dark, so as a background, so I guess this will just have like a clear sort of ring around it. So I'm happy. Nice bloom. Okay, so I am so grateful for you to watch this channel and this video, and I will see you for the next video. Thank you so much for watching.